NPH. Leaders in Canadian basketball.
This is Tariq Sbiet of NPH. Joined with me are Mr. Naz Long and Anthony Bennett of Finley Prep, two of the top players in the 2012 class. First off, we're going to start with you, Naz. You talked to me a little bit about the mission that you had coming to this camp. What went down?
Basically, we had two connecting flights, and we had to go somewhere to get here. And throughout that trip, snow came down out of nowhere. So we got stuck out in Minneapolis, and basically we had to go through a whole bunch of rebooking, rescheduling to get here. But in the end of the day, we pulled it off, and we're here today.
Now, you guys, the last time you guys been on Canadian soil, it's been a little bit of a minute. So, first of all, how does it feel to be back and with your Team Takeover Canada family or CIA Bounce family, and to see all of the familiar faces from the last summer on the circuit?
It feels great to just see family and stuff, just hang out. But too bad we're only here for the weekend, so just business down here, just straight ball.
Now for you, Naz, what do you plan on taking the most out of this camp? I mean, for the first day we were here, the intensity level was at a very high level, and I'm assuming it's going to continue that way, especially with the scrimmages. Out of this whole camp, what do you plan on taking out the most?
Well, just being with the family, what I'm saying? Just getting meshing together, in the little time we have. But every little detail you gotta pay specific attention to. So whatever I can bring out, from defense, offense, and just being with the family, I'm gonna bring out. So from offense to defense, I'll bring out anything from the camp.
Now switching gears back to Anthony, I saw the roster, for the EYBL, the EYBL roster, and as we all know, it's stacked from head to toe. What do you guys got planned going in there? I mean, it's gonna be a competitive EYBL league, but talk about that roster as a whole, and do you think it's up there with the best rosters of all time, Canadian rosters?
To be honest, I think that's one of the best, because from 1 to 14, we all have skills and dominant players, and this summer we're just trying to try to get as much as tournament wins as we can.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the interest that you've had. Obviously, both you guys, major prospects, getting a lot of interest, a lot of programs want you. Just maybe throw out some of the programs that are included in those schools.
Xavier, West Virginia, UConn, Pittsburgh, Kentucky. I think I got Duke, UNLV. The list goes on, but.
Marquette, UNLV, Virginia, LSU, Cleveland State, and New Mexico State, and there's a couple more, but that's off the top of my head. That's what I know.
Now, this Canadian duo at Finley Prep, they're going to be playing a bigger role, a heavier role with the Finley Prep Pilots, with Mike Kabongo, fellow Canadian, graduating this season. First off with Naz, we've had Corey Joseph, Mike Kabongo, and now could be Nasty Naz Long, going in to replace that void. What do you have to say about the level of point guard play from the Canadians that have been over the course of the years, and how you plan on continuing that trend for top prospects, top players, top-notch guys that can keep that Finley program at a high level?
Well, as Coach Peck always says, the point guard has to run the team, and through Corey being there his last year and Mike's senior year, together they only have 5 losses. So if you look at that alone says that they're both high major guards, and you guys know that they're both at Texas, or Mike's going to be at Texas. So for me to step in and just try to continue that and carry the torch for the Canadian fellow Canadian point guards, it's just an honor, what I'm saying, and it's just a task, another step in my life that I got to be able to take your heads on and just go hard and continue the legacy for those guys.
Now, we haven't seen you in a while, as mentioned. I'm not sure if you guys all know, but Mr. Naz Long, originally from Mississauga, my hometown. We went to Father Gates in Mississauga, Ontario, and now that's a big transition from the Peel region transferring over to Findlay. So Naz, what has been the biggest transition for you in terms of having to mold your game or mold your routine from when you were at Father Gates to Finley Prep?
every single step that I'm taking down in Finley Prep is a serious step. Every decision I have to make is a serious decision. Every time I step foot into practice, like I tell these guys all the time, I treat it as a game. You know what I'm saying? And everything's serious. We go at it with everything from class to practice. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I have to be mentally and physically ready around. Robo will tell you the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And basically, I just change around my whole personality, my whole game. You know, but for the better. And it's just a complete change. And you know, I'm planning to go far and do big things.
Now, as Naz Long just touched on his fellow man right here, they call him Robo. I don't know why. I would like to find out though.
All right. The whole story happened like under 15 Team Ontario. When first met Richard Peters, he didn't know my name, and he said, all right, since you have high shoulders, I'm just going to call you RoboCop. So that name stuck on me for like, 3 years, 4 years now, I don't know. But for sure, everybody just calls me Robo, and I guess that's my basketball nickname.
Sounds good. Now, I wanted to ask, with also you stepping in as a senior next season with Findlay, there's also a void with a couple other graduating seniors. How is your role going to change with Findlay? You know, you have shown flashes throughout this season. You know, some big jams we've seen. Some, you know, you've developed your game overall from just, you know, at one point being a straight up dunker to now kind of developing your perimeter game a little bit. So like talk a little bit about what your role is going to be next season for Findlay.
All right, like everybody thinks I'm a 4 or 5, but that's not true. I'm trying to develop my game to be a 3. So next year, into the Finley Prep season, I'm gonna try to be a 3 man and just go out on the wing more and just do what I do on the wing.
Wow, that's news. So you have Anthony Bennett, major prospect at the 3, and then you have Naz Long, major prospect at the 1. That's a Canadian duo right there at Finley Prep. And this was Tariq Sbiet from NorthPoleHoops.com.
NPH. Leaders in Canadian basketball.